Hi, everybody. It's Linda G coming to you from sunny Northern California. Still a little chilly, but not too bad. I'm doing this as kind of a point of interest. I want to hit everybody up on the balloons. I want to get down and deep on the balloon situation. And I wanted to, first of all, thank you guys for helping my channel be such a success. I really appreciate it. And some of you will be probably watching the Super Bowl pretty soon. So I wanted to get this done. I don't think I'll be watching it. Not because I'm pitching a fit, but just for some reason this year I don't have any interest. Don't know why. I could be wrong, but I felt like I threw the cards, and since I don't have any skin in the game, I felt like the Eagles were going to win. You know, technically my kinfolk are from Missouri, so I should be voting for Kansas City. But and also, if I watch a Super Bowl where I have no skin in the game, I usually go for the team that hasn't won a Super Bowl currently. And apparently Eagles have only won one. You know, I shouldn't complain because our 49ers have 5 rings. So hopefully they get another ring. Okay. So, and then I need to thank you guys for some stuff, but let me take a look-see at these balloons. So they shot another one over Lake Huron, which is up at the Great Lakes. And the weirdest feeling I had, now, you know, I talked to Sterling this morning and he didn't like it. But the weirdest feeling I had was that this has been going on for some time. Like, why haven't you guys caught this sooner? And I even think if I was to go back and look at some of those ET things, shows, paranormal and all that, they took pictures of things that look just like this, calling them ETs, but they're not terrestrial, not intergalactic. They're from China and or Russia. And they're up to no good. But I feel this will stop them because they're like, oh, hell no. So a lot of this stuff was already going around. Here's what happened. And the best explanation I got it from was from Twitter, from a lady named Rebecca Jones. And it's at Geopolitics. It's her name is Rebekah. And I thought her explanation was wonderful. And by the way, she did write a peer review and a master's thesis of satellite detection and changes in the landscape. So yeah, she has some cover on that. So she says, let me read this to you. In spatial science and in case radar/satellite data, we use techniques to filter out noise so we can identify objects in space, the abstract space, not outer space. Think of trying to find a tennis ball on the beach using 3D scan of the beach, read as lines of text. You know how big the tennis ball is, so you take all the data from the beach and tell the computer to find a round object that is approximately the size of a tennis ball. It would take longer to find the tennis ball if every small object in the beach had to be reviewed one by one. So we tell the computer to ignore everything that doesn't look like a tennis ball. Same goes with detecting aircraft. We know the range and sizes of aircraft that they're typically at, and we know they move across space. So we filter out tiny objects that aren't large enough to be typical aircraft and or are stationary, so we can readily find objects that fit the parameters we set for things like war, spy planes, drones, etc. When the balloon thing happened, NORAD reduced the filter sensitivity to allow smaller objects to pass through. Now we're picking up these small, slow-moving objects that had been filtered out before. Makes total sense, because I felt like they'd been out there. I felt this wasn't a new thing, and they'd been getting away with it. Back to the beach analogy. We essentially turned off the filter, and now we're picking up seashells, coins, and lost rings. What the objects are and what nation / entity they're from has not been announced. They are simply unidentified flying objects, UFOs at this point. These weren't necessarily launched or sent recently. We just never looked for them. Now we are. And we're finding quite a few of them here. That actually helped me feel a little bit better knowing that it's not new, and they got away with it. They thought they could just do this. This isn't new. And so I think I even read that some people were saying, you know, I saw an object like that, and you know, they just ignore it, especially if you say it's from an ET, they just ignore it. Now let's see why they're doing this, besides the fact that they got away with it all this time. I want to deep dive into the balloons. Where there's more, somebody's saying to me, there's probably about 3 more that we're going to take down. It makes people uncomfortable. Like my girlfriend that wrote me in, she said, you know, over like her, she goes, what the fuck? It makes her uncomfortable. It makes us a little uneasy. But if you listen to Sterling this morning, he says they are taking information from us to help them. They're checking us out. I, honest to God, feel China and Russia. I feel both. Maybe even China told Russia they don't have the ability to detect us. So, you know, go to town. What are they detecting? And will it end up hurting us? No, China's not. I'm going to tell you guys, you don't have to believe me. I'm not seeing China doing anything to the United States that's horrible, except stealing information. But yeah, you know, this is a true story. Remember, we couldn't get a spaceship onto the moon. And then Russia did. And then we invited Russia to bring their spaceship for a big parade or something. And the United States, I remember the story, and look it up for me, you guys. They actually they put it in storage. You know, they said, well, keep it in this big storage and we have guards. But they made a fake looking one just like it, took the real one, and within only 24 hours, took it apart. Piece by piece. The United States did this. And then put it back together and gave it back, and nobody knew anything different, but then they had the information how to do it. So that's when the United States made successful. That's how it works. That's everybody stealing everybody. You know what I'm saying? So tell me what's going on. We're very aware now, so this won't be happening anymore. We're just removing the ones that have been lingering here. This has been going on for a while. I can see it. And they just set off their balloon and expected it to go across like it normally does. And then now we're finding them and we're like, what the? I feel that, I think Sterling said this too, but the cylinder shape is Russia. So as terrible as it can be, the Ten of Swords is reversed, which means it's not going to be, there's nothing here with war. It's causing people to panic a little bit, but it's reverse panic. People want justice, but I almost feel like this will just sort of fade into the sunset. Like there's no big, you know, there's no big, we may say we're very disappointed, but it doesn't matter because they'll turn around and say, well, you guys have done this and that. That's what I heard. Okay. But I don't want you guys, they did get good intel. And by the way, one of the jets that was going over Canada said that whatever was in there was affecting his abilities. You know, it was something was going out on his jet. So whatever was there was pretty strong enough to affect him. So yeah, you know, the United States was watching that one that they shot over the Atlantic Ocean. But I just want you to know, so can everybody be okay? Yes. I don't want you guys to freak out. I want you to know that this too shall pass, that this is something they've been doing. And it's not just with us. It's with other countries. And now everybody's looking at, just like that great movie that I love. Don't look up, because you're going to see these balloons. So just give us, there's nobody coming to attack us. I can tell you that much. And let me tell you something. I just saw this. I see all our military, all our generals, everybody up, shoring up, making sure everything, they are on alert. And, you know, Biden told China, you know, don't mess with us because we'll mess with you. And that's kind of like Trump said to North Korea, you know, what do you call him? Rocket Man. Our missiles are bigger than your missiles. We'll wipe you out. God, I remember thinking it was going to be the end of days. But, you know, sometimes these bullies, and I hate to say it because I've had bullies in my life, and this was one woman I worked with, just terrible. She was always kind of cutting me down and being short-tempered. And one day I told her, don't wipe your boots off on me. You better knock it off because I'm not going to put up with it. And she stopped after that. She was very nice to me. So sometimes if you call out a bully, it helps. You know, they'll always hate us, but, and everybody's messing with everybody. So I don't want you to worry. I could be totally wrong. Even if, God forbid, something happened and boom, everybody's, you know, well, there's nothing we can do to stop it. But there's more things happening in the world. And also, don't forget, I told you that there's a lot of natural phenomenon, the disasters, like that big, huge earthquake. There's more to come, and there's more help people need. And it's not got anything to do with military. Okay. And so I want to take a look. We're coming up to the anniversary of Ukraine. And as you know, Russia's kind of hitting them hard again. Tell me about the status of Ukraine. Tell me about the status of Ukraine. Tell me about the status of Ukraine. Okay. Well, Ukraine is looking at victory coming up ahead. 8 days, 8 weeks, 8 months. They're strong. I'm telling you, pretty soon, because that 8 of Wands means like stuff is coming. They're going to start getting all the things they need, including jets. I'm telling you right now. I've been telling you this. Yeah, because they're tired of waiting. They're using what they got, and they're tired of waiting. Okay, so look at this, you guys. So they're looking at their spilt cups. People are still dying, and it's terrible. And these poor people, my God, you know, we don't have to worry about not having electricity unless you live in Texas. And we don't have to worry about not having some food, you know. But these poor people, they just struggle every day, fearful of being bombed. There was a young Jewish kid talking on that show, The Holocaust, that got to go to America. And he said, I mean, he was in the slums in New York, and he felt like the king of the world. He said, it was so good to know that I didn't have to fret about dying, that I wasn't in constant, you know, threat about dying. It was a wonderful, and he was just a kid. So the outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. So I've told you probably by March, April. Now I get, some people are saying that somebody will come in after Putin and be just as cruel. I do get the weirdness with Russia. Now I'm going to tell you a story my son told me. You see, China and Russia both had some terrible times, terrible times, more so than the United States ever had. So they were, you know, there was no bread on the shelves. So when Putin was running, he says, I'll make sure there's bread on the shelves. I'll make sure you have this, you have that. I'll make sure our military is shored up. And they believed him, and they liked it. They liked being comfortable, just like in China. China has struggled and struggled, and then, you know, you get these communists in there, will make sure that you're okay. Like, you can't own land in China at all. You rent land from the government. But you can own a decent house for like $100 a month. And you can make money, but they watch you like a hawk. But there's some people that'll take that rather than go through what they went through before with struggling. They would prefer having that. So we can't knock people's choices and say, oh, you want a democracy, because as you can see, our democracy is suffering right now. But you have to allow people their choices. The problem with Putin is he went overboard, and you know, it got to where nobody could run against him because they would be dead. And then with China, they're getting a little too in your business kind of stuff. So, and America is great, but there's just so much friction going on here, you guys. But I will tell you that I'm gonna look at Putin. Initially, Putin came in, he said, I worked for the KGB, I can bring back a Russia that's good, that you have plenty of food. And now they're struggling again because of his decision on this Ukraine thing. So yeah, now people are thinking differently. But democracy, I don't know if they're the types of peoples that can handle. So there's some people that just can't handle democracy. I think my son mentioned North Korea too. These people know nothing else. This is how they live. Ooh. Putin is a little down in the dumps. It's the second time that 5 of Cups showed. Now, see, he's not doing good, you guys. He's not feeling good. He's struggling. He's trying to move forward, and he's one thing after the other. I'll tell you who's watching Putin is the UFOs. Is the intel on the in the realm. They're watching him. And listen, he will not be allowed to send off a nuke. He will not. I'm telling you guys. They are there. They will shut down everything. They're not going to allow it because they don't want. The only thing the galaxy, the intergalactic people have said that made total sense to me, they cannot interfere with our free will. So they don't want to come in and announce themselves. Sure, they're around and we see them, but they're not out to get any attention or parades or anything. But they can interfere with nukes. They can interfere with nukes. And I think Putin knows this. I think Putin knows this. So he stands with the demon. So he's doing the bidding of something evil. He might even, his brain might not be all that. There's a man and a woman. There's another woman, and here's a man around him. So yeah, every time I throw in him, he's like in the coffin. But you know, the thing is time. The thing is time. Okay, so Biden's speech, wasn't that a beautiful thing? Oh my God. And remember, I read the cards that was it the day before? I said, well, this has Biden's speech, and I said, oh, it's going to be really good. It was really good. Oh my God, he was good. And yeah, he's old and sometimes it's uncomfortable, but you know what? He knows what he's doing. So tell me about our president. How's he doing? I don't know if you guys watched Sterling, but he said Fetterman maybe has 8 months left in office. Not that he's going to die, but it's taking a toll on him. I'm just glad he ran and kicked out that Oz. There's a lot of happy cards with him. Look at this. The economy's getting better. This might be Kamala. New beginnings in the House, the Ten of Cups. He is crossed by, the Ten of Swords, but it's reversed. So this is a very good card to have reversed. It means all the bull that you went through is getting ready to subside. I mean, he's very proud to say no other president in history has done this. And what did Eisenhower tell me? Was it Roosevelt? What did Roosevelt tell me? Remember years ago, I'll have to look through my old videos and see. But years ago, before we even had a president that was going to run against Trump, I kept picking up a gray-haired man and a dark-haired woman. And I thought, is it Bloomberg? And I was looking and I thought, and then, Biden's effect was a little bit flat. So we were like, I don't know. He looked like a deer in the headlights during the debate. So we thought, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I saw the light around him and I said, that's him. That's the one that's going to run. And then he picked Kamala. And then Franklin D. Roosevelt came to me as a young man, and he was smoking still. And he said to me, mark my words, Linda, this new president will do like I did with the New Deal, which is what he's trying to do. So it's just beautiful. He's just, you're going to see a lot of job openings, even more come it's February now than the spring, because the money's starting to go to all these neighborhoods so they can upshore their bridges and stuff. Okay, so what I wanted to look at, Putin's cards aren't good, you guys, but they haven't been good for a long time. So I know it's the same thing, different day, and we're getting a little tired of it, but I don't see the war going on much longer after the 1-year anniversary. And the other thing they're not talking about that they had talked about briefly, there's a lot of people leaving, Russians leaving the battlefield. And they should get out of Dodge, because if he finds them, he'll have them executed. Okay, so now tell me about these committees. Let's look at Jim Jordan's committee. I love Daniel Goldman. Oh my God, is he fantastic or what? When he says, sir, do you have the list of these, what do they call them? The ones that give out the info, don't you have, some sort of documentation, their names, which Republicans would insist. Oh yes, you better give us the name of this person that gave you all this info. But he just went around it. Yeah. It's a nothing burger. What did we say, you guys? It's a nothing burger. So let's look at Jim Jordan. Jimmy baby. I want that movie to come out. Okay, thank you. Somebody just said to me it'll come out in May. So George, maybe they even filed some lawsuit or something, but it's coming out in May. Okay, so tell me about Jim Jordan and his committees. He knows he's toast. And did you hear Marjorie Taylor Greene was screaming at the Pentagon in one of those meetings? And McCarthy can't say anything to her. He can't tell her to tone it down because she'll get mad at him. But she's over there screaming about those balloons. And let me tell you something. Maybe we do have to get mad, but those balloons have been out there for a while, you guys. It wasn't just this past week. Those balloons, it's just like that lady said. She said it was because of the way we do our radar. When we opened up the radar for different sizes, then all of a sudden, here's the balloons. Okay, so Jim Jordan. So his communication is all off. He's trying to get up evidence. I feel, that Daniel Goldman. Jesus, I just think he's going to be the new Adam Schiff. It's not getting anywhere. It's not going anywhere, you guys. I love it. And did you hear that he petitioned Biden's son and they said, hell to the no. No cooperation. Hunter Biden. Okay. Yeah, he's dealing with the wrong deck. He's kind of got evil and his energies are upside down. It's just going to be a waste of time. Look at this. Look at this little, they just got the little page of pentacles, a little information, nothing big. Disappointment, disappointment. One thing after the other, disappointment. I just want to take a quick look at Hunter Biden. I don't know the last time I looked at him. So how will Hunter Biden fare with all this? And they were petitioning people to come and talk to them, to their committee. And it's like, they're all saying, well, sure, we'll do it like you did it. It's not show up. I mean, how can they go in there thinking they're, you know what, don't stink. And then acting like, oh, well, everybody else heave ho and snap to when we say it. But in the meantime, we totally ignored your subpoenas. Doesn't make sense. Hunter Biden, how's he doing? Hunter Biden, how's he doing? Hunter Biden. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want you guys to worry. There's not going to be any kind of a bomb balloon coming over. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be okay. You know why? Because they know it's not like Trump, who might say, well, how do you know it was China that just blew up Des Moines? You know, that's how Trump runs. Biden would say, boom, boom, our intel says this, we're going for it. And he listens to the military, unlike Trump. Yeah, he's got these are good lawyers behind him. They cost him plenty, but they're good lawyers. This is kind of making him sick. He has something going on with him, like he's not feeling that good. But he's looking at a new beginning. And he's staying far away from being involved with anything with his dad. But he did take advantage. There's something little, they'll slap his hand, but it's going to be okay. It's like fighting off evil. And the other thing is the chain of command. You just didn't have the chain of command there with that laptop. So you can't say it's a nothing burger. You cannot present it in a court of law because you cannot prove chain of command. That's it. End of story. There's nothing they can do. They'd love to, but there's nothing they can do. Okay, so David Chola Core of De La Soul, a rap trio, has expanded hip hop stylistic vocabulary in the 80s and 90s, has died. God bless him. Okay, the other thing I wanted to look at, hold on one second. So you guys really wanted to ask me about MTG. You really want to know what the 411 is on here. Let me take a look. Let's see. MTG. You know, her and Beaupert, I know I've been saying they were going to lose, and they are going to lose, but I guess it wasn't right when we had hoped they were going to lose. I don't see them getting kicked out, but I do see McCarthy kind of not getting kicked out, but being taken down because they're just acting out. It's like high school, calling President Biden a liar. You lie. And how do you like that Mike Lee with that scrawly look? What? I never asked for Social Security to be defunded or anything like that. Yeah, you did. And we've been playing tapes ever since where you told an audience, I'm doing this. They say it's political suicide, but that's my goal, is to end Social Security. Okay, here we go. And to the person that sent me the earrings that we thought that got lost in the mail, I still haven't got the ones. I bought the same earrings she sent me so I could have them. Still haven't got those yet, but it's only been like a couple of weeks. But I want to tell her that whoever the box they put it in gave it back and told the guy at the mail center that this isn't mine. So they're at my sister's and I'll pick them up tomorrow. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you know, she's furious because, you know, they're making fun of her jacket. They're just making fun of her. This bullying back and forth, even on our end, it's just not good. You just have to let her fry herself out. But she just, you know, apparently in high school, but this is hearsay for entertainment purposes only. But apparently in high school, she was a bully too. And if she didn't get invited to your party, she would stalk you. I could see that. Yeah, right now she thinks she's queen for a day, you guys. She thinks the law is on her side. She's not going to take Biden down. She's going to make herself sick with whatever she's doing. She's in fact, the whole thing with Biden is going to be causing her destruction. So there's something to do with Biden. And listen, they're going to come back on that PPE thing. I think she might have taken some of that PPE thing. There's some Congress people that are in trouble. Absolutely. Okay, so somebody wrote something. I thought it was interesting. Jane, she wrote it to Sterling, and I thought I would answer it. I really want to know, when does the soul leave the body during a traumatic death? And what does the body feel if it's still alive during this time? Well, if it's still alive, if your body is still alive, like on life support or something, you exit out of the body immediately during a traumatic death, and you tend to stay there. Some people go to the other side, but you tend to stay there. I've seen so many people that die in car accidents and stuff, and when I see them, they'll describe what was going on in the room, you know, or going on around them, because they're telling everybody, I'm not dead. Wait a second, I'm not dead. I'm here. I'm not dead. So, she says, for instance, when an animal's being attacked or torn up by another animal, this has haunted me my whole life. And listen, that paranormal on camera show had caught a lady's phone, not phone, her security system caught a little deer, a fawn that was hit by a car, which is terrible. They didn't do the actual accident, but they showed the fawn sort of struggling to move. And it was sort of crawling, like it was trying to get back up on its legs on the side of the road. And then all of a sudden, you saw the spirit of that deer come out of that body. It was amazing, and run away. So it's like, you know, for a minute, it's like, oh, shoot, I'm hurt. And we go into shock, you guys. That's our saving grace. We go into shock less times we can't feel nothing. But by the grace of God, you know, but taking other bodies right away, I don't see that. But I will tell you that initially we're around our body. And initially people with NDEs will be out of their body watching what everybody's doing, and they go back in and they wish they were out because the pain is so bad. So everybody really is interested in the ETs. So anyway, Lois said, you know, when you're in hospice and you're dying, can the coming deceased or the ones who are dying really still hear what you say? And yes, they can. And that is the last thing to go, is your hearing, by the way. For me, it'll be taste. So, you know, if I get a nice bite of a cheesecake, I'll probably enjoy that taste till I cross. Yes, they know their family is in the room. I remember taking care of a hospice patient, and he was suffocating in his own fluid. I was doing everything I could, and the doctor said to me, you know, give him this shot, basically, you know, that it'll calm him down. And I didn't even have to give him the shot, because when I went to reposition him, he started going into, you know, where he was just barely breathing and barely alive. And his whole family was around the bed. And at some point I saw him, he looked up, he looked at his sister, I think it was his brother, his wife, and then he looked over at me, and then he just passed away. And I'm telling you, they come out of the body, they're around, usually relatives, deceased relatives are there. So I don't know about hanging around on the earth as much. I know some people, especially with trauma, or people who were sick for a long time, who are on a lot of medication, sometimes they have an issue with crossing over, or they're asleep. They'll go over there and sleep for a long time. I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to say it again. There's like even suicides. They go into like a hospital situation. They think they're in a regular hospital. And there's these, and then they'll realize, wait a second, my grandmother's dead. You know, they'll start realizing that they're dead, but they're coming around, they sleep a lot in a subconscious, you know, they're just floating. And they're in these beds, and it's almost like a long, I saw one of the rooms, it was like a long, like a military, but it was these beds. And you think you're getting worked on, but you're not, but you're getting worked on by guides and angelic forces. And then what happens is, as you get awake, so to speak, in the realm, that wall in front of you, that was like a hospital wall, it sort of crystallizes and turns into a beautiful vista. And then people are like, oh my, this is gorgeous. And they walk right through that wall, and they realize, oh my, oh, I'm dead. Animals will be there that you lost. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, you guys. It's breathtaking. The main thing is, while you're on earth, wish no ill on others as best as you can, because us humans can get really pissed off. Try to forgive everyone and try to send love to everyone, even Marjorie Taylor Greene. We have to stop with the bullying, because it only hurts us. It doesn't hurt her. Why are you going to upset your progress in this realm by over something like that? It's just not worth it, you know? So, and but about Alzheimer's, I want you to know there is something coming out for Alzheimer's. My brother-in-law had Alzheimer's, and UCSF had put him on a medication that was helping for a while. But then they took it off, like, oh, stop the medication, because it killed a couple of people. But you know what I say? So what? If I have quality of life, even for a year, I'll take it. Because it's Alzheimer's, it's terrible. So anyway, but there is something coming out. I had a spirit that had Alzheimer's on live telling me that soon. He said 2, but maybe he meant 20 years. So I don't know, because that was probably 8 years ago. Okay, and I want to thank my friend Inge, I-N-G-E. I just finally got to Angel Heart, and I got your Houseplants book, and I got your Barefoot Doctor book. Twisted Fables for Twisted Minds. That's cute. So we'll either heal you or make you go insane. Sounds good. Sounds good, girlfriend. Okay, so I think that's it on this. I'm wishing you guys a lovely Super Bowl. I guess it's already going on right now. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'm doing mail at 10 a.m. But it's not going to be live. It'll be taped. Okay, love you all. Cheers.